Welcome to Learning Outcomes 101. By the end of this video, you should be able to articulate well-formed learning outcomes for any course or course component. Learning outcomes are brief statements that identify the skill set or knowledge you expect students to have acquired after engaging in a learning process. They can help you make strategic course design decisions, and they can help your students monitor their own learning by explicitly identifying their learning targets. Well-formed learning outcomes are succinct and clear, measurable, and focused on what successful learners will be able to do at the end of a learning experience. They can be written for a single learning activity, a single lesson or module, a whole course, or even an entire degree or curriculum. Learning outcomes are similar to goal statements, and from the goal-setting literature, we know that it is typically most effective to keep the list short, 3 to 5 statements for any application. So your 3 to 5 course-level learning outcomes capture the big picture view of what your course is about, while 3 to 5 learning outcomes associated with a single module or lesson provide a more fine-grained look at where you're headed. To write your learning outcomes, there is a fairly straightforward formula to apply. Begin with a sentence stem, then add the content with an action word, an object for that action, and a condition to scope the outcome. For example, recall the learning outcome for this video. By the end of this video, you should be able to articulate well-formed learning outcomes for any course or course component. We have our sentence stem to start things off, articulate as our action word, well-formed learning outcomes as our object, and our scoping condition to wrap it up. Writing your learning outcomes in this way will help you keep them clear, concise, measurable, and appropriately focused. Now, your learning outcomes are more likely to be more clear and more measurable if you take care in selecting the right action words, and Bloom's taxonomy can help with this. Bloom's taxonomy is a categorization of English words that express measurable versions of words like knowledge and understanding, which themselves are too ambiguous to be usefully measurable. Terms associated with remembering typically designate simple and concrete cognitive skills, while terms like analyze, evaluate, and create involve higher levels of cognitive complexity. The key is for you to articulate what a student will be able to do differently once they have mastered the skills or knowledge in question. As you proceed, aim to avoid less measurable terms like gain insight into, understand, and gain an appreciation for. Instead, use Bloom's taxonomy as a tool to help you identify the words that best express the specific skills that define your learning outcomes. And there you have it. You likely already know what it is you want your students to learn. Taking the time to articulate that information as well-formed learning outcomes will provide you with a powerful teaching tool. Use your learning outcomes to help make strategic decisions about what content to cover and to design learning activities focused on the skills you want your students to learn. Ultimately, this small investment of your time will pay off with increased student learning and increased efficiency in your teaching. Enjoy!